What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. What's up? It's your boy Kensu. Hey, so check it, you guys. Evo 2024 is over, but I got a chance to play 2XKO and I got some extensive time with the game. Shout outs to Riot Games for the courtesy and allowing your boy to play for an extended period of time. Definitely appreciate that. But one thing to quickly note here. So while I had a good time at Evo and had a good time playing 2XKO, unfortunately, when I got back from Evo, I had unfortunately caught COVID, which delayed this video, which is super unfortunate, but I'm here bringing it to you guys now, so you already know the vibes. It's about time I give you guys my thoughts on this build of 2XKO and my experience with it, so let's get cracking. Let's get to talking about some 2XKO.
Watch this.
So who I played this time in this build of 2XKO, I spent a lot of time playing Alawi and Ari exclusively, but more so Alawi when I was playing with my partners. I had been excited to play her since her announcement, so you know, I had to, you guys. You already know the vibe. You know, you see a character you like, you know, you just gravitate towards it, so you're just like, let me just get in there real quick and learn a thing or two, right? So I think she's super cool with her playstyle being a big body trap character, and it just seems super appealing, right? So as for Ari, I mean, come on, she has like literally like the highest mobility in the game, so it's kind of like at the moment she has the highest mobility, of course, so it was just a no-brainer for me. You guys know I love movement-based characters. Obviously I have a Guilty Gear background and other fast-paced, you know, movement-based games, so it only made perfect sense to play the high mobility character at the moment, right? I know what you're thinking. Kensu, what about Yasuo? No, Yasuo, we know you like ninjas and samurais. Like, kind of what's going on here? Well, quite frankly, I think he's cool and all. I know I'll probably be giving him some burn when the Alpha Lab comes, but I guess you can just kind of say I'm kind of tired of him. Ever since they announced him at the last Evo, like everyone pretty much has been on Yasuo, and it's kind of the same thing on League of Legends. Everyone just loves Yasuo, and don't get me wrong, I think he's cool too. But with them adding in Alawi and like Braum, I kind of wanted to give some other characters a try, and I never really had a chance to try Ari anyway in the last demo, so it's like, you know, why not? Besides, everyone's gonna be playing Yasuo, so it's just I'll give him some burn and maybe in the Alpha Lab, right? Who I'm actually interested in heavily is actually Echo, but I didn't want to put the time into him even though I had like a lot of time to play at Evo. I really was more so interested in playing Alawi a ton because I felt like Alawi seemed a little bit easier to get into than Echo. And I know I'm gonna play him on full release, and you know the Alpha Lab's coming soon too, so of course I'm gonna give him some playtime. Just like, it's a given. I mean, it's Echo. Like, you just kind of gotta, right? For the culture. Most of my time was all spent on Alawi, and I thought that her gameplay was just really good. It fit perfectly with what I was looking for with the character, and especially working with my teammates in which I was playing with. She just felt like everything just flowed like perfectly well for me and my team, so I can definitely tell you for sure I had a ton of fun playing Alawi, like complete fun playing Alawi. So, you know, characters aside, let me talk about the gameplay this time around in this build of 2XKO at this year's Evo. So the gameplay is a lot faster than the previous build I played at the last Evo, which is kind of a nice thing because it did feel kind of like the first build I played felt a little, I don't want to use the word floaty, but the gameplay was just slower. So because it's slower, the jumps felt, I guess, quote unquote floaty, but it just felt like things were just kind of just delayed. This version of the game feels a lot more snappier, a lot more fast paced. It feels like closer to a BB Tag or a Marvel or a Battle for the Grid. It just feels a lot faster. It like, part of the magic of team games is the chaos and like the speed and the pace. So I felt like they kind of starting to nail that. I do think also with that, they do have to find a fine line of like how fast the game can be for people to be able to keep up with. And so I think this current pace feels a lot better than the way it was before. I mean, I guess you can kind of say it's kind of like I don't really like saying this out loud, but it's kind of like a Street Fighter tag game with all these cool mechanics, but this version just feels just right. It's just right. Even if they bumped it up a notch, I'd be okay with that, but so far so good. Also, the animations look a lot smoother in this build, so it feels like they went and found like the in-between frames and added a little bit more to make the character look a lot more fluid with what they're doing. So that's a nice welcome change that I can see in this build. Also, combos were getting a lot shorter. I did see in one of the recent videos they did talk about how players felt the combos might have been too long, and I can kind of understand that. So it is nicer to see the combos be a little bit shorter to kind of get you back into the game, get you back to the action, and deal with, okay, you know, I got knocked down, I got comboed, okay, I can get up, block, and do whatever I want, instead of watching this like 30-minute cutscene of like of a memorized sequence. Like, I get it. So I do like that as well. Shorter combos do seem to be working better for the game. Just overall, the game just felt a lot more polished and refined, which is to be expected going from build to build before release of this game. So far so good. You know, we're still a ways out from release, but I think if they keep this current trend up with making sure animations are clean and cleaning up a lot of the gameplay issues, we're on the cusp of something really good here. So I'm definitely happy for that from the gameplay perspective. Now I want to talk about the fuse system and what I learned while I was playing, right? So naturally, the fuse system seemed to be a bit more fleshed out, a bit further than the last build I played, once again. The new pulse fuse is great for newcomers to the game and kind of make them feel like they're making a difference, like they're actually making an impact with their gameplay, with their teammate. And to kind of further this, I think that it's a great fuse to start with for new players outright. You literally get to feel like you're doing something, as I mentioned, and enjoy the game without the stress of combo execution, because, you know, this fuse is essentially the modern controls of the game, because quite frankly, the game's control scheme is simple enough to not really need a modern controls, to be honest with you. I think that, you know, this is a great addition to the game, but I do feel like at some point the players will eventually graduate from this fuse and move into other fuses, because I feel like you're kind of missing out on a good chunk of the game because you're looking to land combos. The other fuses offer a lot of different utility for you and your teammate, or just for you when you're playing the game naturally. So I think you might want to move from pulse as you guys graduate, right, and you learn more about the game. And yeah, I just feel like you're gonna want to learn the other fuses to maximize the potential of your team, be it solo or with a friend. So just kind of driving that point home for you guys, right? All the fuses seem to offer a ton to the players and seem a lot better, more refined this time around. Once again, to be expected. Now, the two fuses I spent the most time with this time around was the Fury fuse and Double Down. Now, Fury grants increased damage and a single-use dash when your characters reach their last 40% of their HP. And since I was using Alawi, it made a lot of sense to go with the Fury fuse the majority of the time, since I was anchoring a good bit of the games I was playing, right? Now, with that being said, moving on, the second fuse, which was Double Down, you know, this allows your partner to use their supers after the point character uses theirs, be it the, you know, no matter which one you use, right? I think this was pretty good, all things considered, because Alawi does have the tentacle super, the Wrath of Nakaboros, which can lead to setups for both Alawi and her partner, barring how you do the super switch, or if you know, familiar with Marvel, DHC, right? So it was pretty neat to kind of mess around with my partners with this, and these two fuses just in particular. I did mess with the others, but to be quite honest, I think since I'm looking to spend a lot of time on Alawi, I couldn't find much for the time that I had while I was playing at the booth for the other fuses. Maybe when the Alpha Lab drops, I'll be able to spend a little bit more time and kind of figure out more with these fuses, but I definitely think from my personal play and for my teammates, definitely Fury and Double Down, perfect. Now, in my time playing, I also felt the differences in the amount of players playing. So the 2v2, 2v1, and the 1v1. 2v2 definitely is what the devs have been pushing since the game's public debut, and even the name change from Project Elo to XKO, and it's just the hallmark of the gameplay. One player controlling each character and a 4v4 match. However, when you start to get into the 2v1, it starts to get a bit trickier. For example, the single player controlling two characters will most likely end up being more coordinated on their timings for their assist calls and combos, so they're likely going to dish out more damage and have stronger pressure, since you're only relying on yourself here. If the two players on a team have no coordination, well, not gonna lie you guys, they're destined to lose due to the lack of coordination and communication. Note that the 1v1 is just standard play, so let's just get back to the main theme here. There's not much to talk about here. And the main theme here is coordination. This is the absolute most important aspect of 2xKO in my honest opinion. Be it competitive or not. I mean, let's face it, 2XKO is essentially a team game masked as a fighting game, or a fighting game masked as a team game, right? Well, I mean, regardless, the reality is coordination through comms is absolutely important to be successful at this game. A bad assist call can result in your team taking unnecessary damage or potentially losing a player. So I would say this is a key point to take note of as we're getting closer to release. So my Avengers Endgame here, I can say for sure I'm looking forward to this game's release, as it's made by people I know personally from within the FGC. So it's a good look from my perspective, especially when they're listening to the feedback from the player base as well. So you guys, be sure to let these guys know when you see them at the shows, you see them on Twitter or whatever. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised in realizing how much they actually listen to, the player feedback. So let them know how you're feeling. They're always asking for feedback because they do want to make the game better. So just keep that in mind. This game has a bright future and I'm here for it, you guys, and hopefully you are too. With that being said, I'm gonna close out here, right? And let me know, right, if you got a chance to play 2XKO at this past Evo, how are you guys feeling about it, right? Are you excited for the Alpha Lab that's coming soon? Talk to me in the comments below. Let me know. And with that, let me get up out of here and I'll catch you guys in the next video. And hopefully catch you guys in the Alpha Lab test, right? Let's play some games, let's hit some buttons, yeah? And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.